Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a plot with log axes and with multiple series in it. And what I'll do is I'll just create a series of uh, data points that have an x-axis value, let's say running from 1 to 20, let's say, and then various y-axis values with different exponents in them. So it's going to be x to the y, okay? And let's put the exponents up here. And maybe I'll put an exponent of 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3 here as my exponent values. And then I'll have y1, y2, y3, y4, and y5 axes. So I've got a single x-axis and multiple y-axes, and each y-axis is going to be x raised to the exponent power. And so what I'll do in this first column is write equals, and then I'll hit the left arrow to get B4, the cell B4 entered, and I will raise that to the power of the exponent 1. Okay? And now I've got that, but what I want to do is I want this same formula to work for all these cells, for all the y-axes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix the column B in the formula, and I'm going to fix the row 1 in the formula. And by putting a dollar sign in front of the B and the 1, I can do that. And now when I drag this formula down and over to the right, let me go ahead and make it so I don't have quite as many decimal places there. And I'll tidy this up a bit, maybe like that. Now you can see that for example, in this formula here, let's go ahead and add some grid lines so we can see where we're at. For example, here on this 81 value, this is B12 raised to the E1 power. And if I click on it here, you can see in blue is B12 and in red is E1. And you can see it's always pointing to the column B and the row 1. So that one points to B12. This one points to B20 and F1. Okay, so that's what we want. This is an important technique in many different sort of scientific plotting tasks. And what I will do now is I'll show you how to make the plot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this data here, including the top row. Well, actually, I'm not going to include the top row. I'm going to go ahead and just select the numbers for now. And I'm going to go to the Insert menu. And this varies between different versions of Excel. But do not just insert a column or a line plot. It's got to be an XY scatter plot so that it respects the X and the Y axes. Okay, so we can see here that along the horizontal axis it goes from 0 to 20, which is our X-axis. Good, that's what we want. And there are 5 different curves, blue, yellow, red, for these 5 different curves here. Now I'm going to show you how to tidy this up. You can't really see what's going on here in this plot because there's a huge range of values all the way from 1 up to 8,000. The way we can fix that up is by clicking on an axis, double clicking it, and going to the plot options portion of that and choosing a logarithmic axis. So here's a logarithmic axis on the vertical scale. You can see that it's separated our data points nicely. We can see kind of what's going on. Let's go ahead and add a logarithmic axis on the horizontal scale as well. And now we can see really what's going on here. We've got straight lines with different slopes. And each of these has a slope equal to the exponent up above. So I'll show you a few tricks about fixing up this plot. The first thing I want to show you is that in a plot like this, what we're going to do is we're just going to, I clicked on a single data point there. You can see I clicked on a single data point and now I have a format data point. I don't generally want to format a single data point. I click out here again, and now I'm going to double click on the whole thing. I'm going to format the whole data series. This is what I want. And I want there to be a line, and I don't want there to be markers. So I go to the marker options, choose none. And now I have a nice line for that set of data. I'm going to do the same thing for this one, a solid line, marker options, none. This one, none on the marker options, solid line. This one, solid line. This one, solid line. Now I've got a line and markers, but I'm going to go back and choose to none markers. I'm doing things in funny order here. Okay, there's my 5 curves that I have, and these represent the data. Now what I need to do is come up with some way of distinguishing these curves. They're all the same gray color, and I'm going to make them different colors. First of all, maybe green, maybe blue. You can't see the colors in the video, but they're here. Maybe an orange color. And finally, I don't know, purple or light blue, purple, I guess. Okay, this still won't show up though if you plot it in black and white. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into each of them and choose a different type of dotted line. Okay, this is important in scientific computing so that if somebody prints out your paper in black and white, you're not left with ambiguity as to which plot is which. Okay, so here we now have finally our data represented in a way that you can see it, and I've removed the markers because we know these are straight lines. Okay, we know that these are straight lines on a log-log plot. Okay. The other thing we might want to do here is to get our, here we go, yeah, I can just resize that thing. But now I need to figure out how to get these, this legend a little bit more legible, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the home menu and choose a larger font size for these series. And now I need to figure out how to get some labels on these series rather than just series 1, 2, 3. I'm going to right click the chart area. I'm going to click, let me show you how to do it. I'm going to click all the way out here. Now I'm going to click right out in the middle of the chart area. So I select the whole thing, right click, and choose select data. This is a really important dialog box. And what I'm going to do for series 1, I'm going to choose, well, let's see. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to type in some values. The exponent equals 1 here. The exponent equals 1.5 here. The exponent equals 2.0 here. The exponent equals 2.5 here. And the exponent equals 3.0 here. Maybe I'll make this a 1.0 for consistency. Okay, now I'm going to go out to the chart, choose select data, and now I have a place where I can type in the name of the data. And this little thing allows me to go to chart 1 and choose C2 as the spot where I get that. And now you can see the label EXP equals 1 is coming from cell C2. I'm going to do the same thing for each of these. Click on this. 1.5. The name comes from E2 here. The name comes from F2 here. And if you want, you can just select this F2 thing, go to series 5, and instead of clicking, you can paste and just change that to a G. That's what I tend to do. And now we have a real nice plot that has a nice labels and shows you know, everything about this. You might want to add minor ticks to the horizontal axis. Tick marks. Let's add both majors and minors on the inside, and you'll see that we have a little bit more to look at here. Barely. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then to 10. Then 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay. The other thing you might want to do is add an axis label here. Let's see. Okay, here's a chart title. We can just double click that. We can just single click it, I guess, and get into edit it. Various power laws plotted. And I'll just click outside here. How do I get axis labels on here? One of the easiest ways is to choose these quick layouts that do have axis labels. So, you know, this one you can see has axis labels here. Layout number 1. Let's do it. There we go. Now it kind of rearranged things for us, but we can still put it back the way we like it, like this. But now I've got axis titles that I can x-axis. I have axis titles that I can edit. Y equals x to the exponent, let's say. Okay, so now we've labeled everything. Now our x-axis only goes to 20. I guess that's all right. Here it goes all the way to 100. If I want, I can take it all the way by changing these numbers. But I think this shows you the main things you need to know. Another thing you can do is right-click here and format the plot area to add. How do we add? I'm going to double click on it. Now I want to add grid lines. I have horizontal grid lines, but not vertical. Plot area, right click, format plot area. I thought this would be it. Grid lines. Sometimes it's hard to find these things. Okay, I should have quit while I was ahead here. I see. I think I just right-click on the axis. Yeah, add major grid lines. There we go. Okay, I just right-clicked on the. I selected the axis itself and right-clicked. Okay, I think I can add minor grid lines. I think minor grid lines don't really work when we have. Yeah, look at that. There we go. Now you can see the minor grid lines. There we go. Now you can really see the log plot nature of this coming out. Okay, I hope this helps.